All right. Let me rephrase that. The secret to creating money security is having enough money, right? But you can't get there until you understand the first principles about wealth building. And today we're going to study 5 of them. So, good morning from Miami, everybody. Randy Gage here. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever else in the world you are watching from. Do me a favor and check in and say hi, and just let me know where you're watching. And call a friend, text somebody, get on your WhatsApp. Who do you know who should be watching this prosperity celebration service today? Who do you know who needs to create money security in their life, that needs to circulate more prosperity? Do me a favor and be a conduit for that. Circulate the prosperity. And if you're watching on the replay on the YouTube channel, same thing. Just check in down in the comments. Always go over there and just see who was by and watching. Thanks for waving, everyone. Good to see. What a gorgeous looking crowd. Let me scroll through a couple other screens just so. Art Jedi Jonak is in the house. All right. We've got the usual all-stars. We got Peter in Canada, mis amigos de Mexico, Puerto Rico y Colombia, Jorge Melendez, Jose Lopez. We got Paula in the house, Paula Z. So let's get into this. And do me a favor, if you want to share, it's the Prosperity live stream page, or you can just do the Zoom page. Jorge, would you type in the link for someone if they want to share it, if they want to send it out on their WhatsApp or whatever? So let's talk about defining first principles. If I would have known Jonak was going to be on, I would have made him a co-host and let him do a guest presentation on first principles. But since I didn't know, it's really the first person that's really credited with this idea is Aristotle. And he talked about them in terms of the first basis from which a thing is known. So I want to approach it today from the viewpoint of a scientist. And if we're a scientist, because I believe that's what we are scientists studying the principles of prosperity, free enterprise, and generosity. That's really our mantra. That's what we do here every week. And I pick one topic and we laser in on that topic. But the big picture is we're studying the principles of prosperity. And so from a scientific standpoint, I would say it's a self-evident assumption that can't be analyzed any further, can't be deduced any further as well. In other words, there's no other level down we can go on this, that this is the first basis from which this thing emanates. So what I want everyone to learn today is how to get the money thing out of the way as quickly as possible. And by get the money thing out of the way, meaning I want you to create enough cash flow on an ongoing basis, residual, hopefully passive residual income, and enough net wealth, enough net worth, so that when things happen, the pandemic, a recession, a depression, war, things that we don't control, you're still in a strong enough position that you can withstand that and that you could still be growing. I want you to create the mindset that you will wake up every morning wealthier than when you went to bed the night before. That's the thing. Who's with me on that? Just say hi and okay. I want to make sure you're all awake and with me on this. So first principles of wealth building. I told you I want to talk about 5 of them today. So the first one is that money is a renewable resource. And not only is money a renewable resource, so I'm starting that as a first principle, that it's not a finite commodity. And that is the belief that most people have about money, is they think it's finite. Well, I only have this much money in my bank account. Steve Jobs had all that money, and now Elon Musk has all this money, and Jeff Bezos and Oprah have all that money, and they have the money that I don't have. So they got the money that I couldn't get, those rich people. And they think of it as an either or scenario, but that's not really the case, because money is just a mind virus that humans have created. We need labels to make sense of things. We need labels for cognitive thinking. Right now, it's like we would say, I was reading Osho this morning, and he was talking about the example he was talking about oneness in the context of being a yogi. But I'd like to apply it in the context of physical science and prosperity, and how science applies to it. So if there is a island in the stream, we would say, well, we have the river or the stream goes down, and then there's this island of earth in the middle, and the water goes around. So the island is dividing the stream. And we do that because we have labels of water and earth. But the truth is, water and earth, and this microphone that I'm speaking into, and this iPhone that I'm holding, and this desk that I'm broadcasting on, they're all made up of the same substance. They're all made up of the same particles. It's all the same. If Deepak Chopra was here, he would say it's all the same cosmic soup. And we need to know, well, that's a table, this is a chair, this is a cup, that's an island, that's a river, that's, water, that's earth. But the truth is, it's all the same stuff. And it's all at its, if we found the smartest scientist in terms of physics that we could get anywhere on earth, and we asked her, okay, what is the universe made of? She would say, well, at its ultimate level, it's energy. And more specifically, it's energy vibrations. And so the table, the chair, the river, the stream, it's all energy vibrations. And dollars and pesos and pounds and euros, they're all just energy vibrations. Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're all just energy vibrations. They're all, and when we talk specifically about money, whether we're talking about cryptocurrencies or fiat currencies, they're all just mind viruses, labels that we made up, because money is simply a medium for exchange. In a very primitive society, I would say, okay, Jennifer, I know you do massages. I will trade you 3 coconuts for a massage. And Julio would say, well, I know that you help repair canoes, and my canoe has a hole in it and needs to be fixed. So I'm willing to trade you 6 ears of corn, and I'm willing to walk to the mountain and bring you back fresh water for 5 days in a row if you will do the repair work on my canoe. And then that obviously got very inconvenient, because maybe Lisa Ryan is there and she only has mangoes, and you've got a mango tree in your yard, so you don't need any more mangoes. But she has something she wants to trade to you, or you have something you want to trade to her. So then she would have to find somebody who had some asparagus and some lettuce and some carrots, and trade her mangoes for that, and then bring it back because I wanted carrots and I had potatoes and she wanted potatoes. It's kind of a hassle. So if you say, hey, we're going to create a currency, and we're all going to agree that we're all going to mentally assign a value to this currency, then it allows us to trade and exchange, and we can have commerce. We can have civilization instead of saying, okay, that person has all the mangoes, so I'm going to wait till they're asleep at night and I'm going to storm their camp and murder them in their sleep and steal their mangoes. We could say, hey, let me trade you some coin for the mangoes, or you trade me some coin for the carrots. And whether product, service, whatever, so money is this infinite renewable resource, because we say, okay, the dollar is worth this. Like today, I don't even know what's Bitcoin worth today, and I haven't even looked for a week or two. So, but say it's 30,000. They say a Bitcoin's worth $30,000 today. Well, who says that? Well, the market said that. This guy said he'd be willing to buy it at that price, and this gal said she'd be willing to sell it at that price. So, but we come back tomorrow, it could be 33,000, it could be 27,000. So there is no finite value to that. The value is simply in the mind of the people who want to acquire it. That's how value is assigned, right? So if we look at that and we say, okay, how do we get money? And if you watched all of the prosperity streams we had so far, we did a whole show on this. We can attract money by solving problems, adding value, or envisioning possibilities. So if you can solve problems for people, right? If you're a dentist and somebody wakes up today, Saturday morning, and they have an abscessed, throbbing tooth and they're in excruciating pain, they will joyfully, lovingly, gratefully trade you money for your ability to make their toothache go away. The same thing if you are building a temple and you need to buy bricks, and you show them how they can buy bricks cheaper, or how their bricklayers can lay the bricks more efficiently, and they could build the temple quicker, and it's going to lower the amount of time. It adds value to the situation. Or if we envision possibilities, as Steve Jobs did with the iPad, right? Nobody knew they needed an iPad. Nobody was saying, well, I need something that's bigger than my phone or smaller than my laptop, or I need a 12-inch screen for my phone. Nobody was thinking like that. So he just envisioned a possibility of an iPad. And then when he put that possibility out there in the world, everybody wanted to get it. And they said, oh, yes, I will joyfully, lovingly, gratefully trade my money for your iPad, because now that I've seen that, I want it. So there is no limits to that. I'm pretty sure, was it last week we did the show, or the week before, on how we're all surrounded by, I think it's 2 weeks ago. And we studied the book Prosperity by Reverend Charles Fillmore. And he talked about this idea that prosperity is a spiritual substance in the ethers everywhere. That there's no place in our universe that this spiritual substance doesn't exist. And I go over here to Little Haiti, Overtown, Liberty City, some of the most depressed areas of Miami. And on the surface, you might say, okay, there's no prosperity there. But Fillmore would say, and I would concur, that yes, there is prosperity there. We just haven't manifested it from the ethers. And I would say the same thing about South Central LA, and the same thing about Compton, and the same thing about the barrios in San Salvador and in Sao Paulo, and anywhere around the world, in Africa, in Haiti, in places that we might say are the poorest places on earth. I would say they're surrounded. The air is teeming with spiritual substance, which we can manifest into prosperity. And the way we do that is through the power of ideas. All right. So nobody has a money shortage. Money is infinite, because you can produce as much money as you can produce ideas. And ideas are infinite. So I have a nice mic here for my podcast and my broadcast, right? From Toner mic. It's a great mic, good sound, everything. It's got a cord and it plugs into my laptop. Well, if somebody creates a mic just like this without a cord, they've added value, and I would be willing to buy that microphone because then I don't have to worry about plugging it into my laptop and I don't have to unplug my phone when I do that. That's an idea that somebody has an idea for a wireless mic, for a wireless, the AirPods and earbuds and all, those are just ideas. And there's no limit to the ideas that you can have. So you're going to understand all of the true elements of prosperity: love, hugs, empathy, wellness, money. They're all infinite. Because if you say, hey, Jose, give me a hug, and assuming he's had his COVID vaccination, you've had your COVID vaccination, he's going to say, he's not going to say, well, no, I only have 8 hugs left. And, the weekend's coming up, so I want to save them for the weekend. Because he knows hugs are infinite. The more hugs he gives away, the more hugs he's going to give back. The more love he gives away, the more love he's going to get back. So all the true elements of prosperity are infinite. So you need to, and I'm really hammering this because this is a first principle of wealth building. You have to recognize that money is an infinite, renewable resource. That's why you can see the cover of my new book behind me, Radical Rebirth. What I'm showing people in that book is a process for how to create a prosperous life, right? But if you've read the book already, then I'm actually not teaching a learning process in that book. I'm teaching a reverse engineering process. I'm teaching a unlearning process, because you learned bad premises. You learned limiting beliefs. Most of you were taught that money is bad, rich people are evil, it's noble to be poor, or it's spiritual to be poor. Money can't buy happiness. Money will, that if you want to be a good parent, you're going to have to be bad at your job. And if you're going to be great at your job, you're going to have to be a bad mommy or a bad daddy. If you want to have a successful company, you've got to pillage the environment and exploit vulnerable people. Those are all things that the majority of the planet has learned, but they're not true. They're false beliefs. And those false beliefs create a state of consciousness, right? So I'm teaching in that book. What am I teaching you? I'm teaching you how to unlearn all of that garbage and get to this core foundational belief that prosperity is your natural state. Let me say that again. Prosperity is your natural state. You were born destined to be prosperous. And you might have learned things along the way. You might have been programmed. You might have been brainwashed by people along the way to teach you some of those limiting beliefs, but they're not true. Poverty is an illusion. Let me really double click on that. When I say poverty is an illusion, because poverty is not a natural state. It's not a state that exists in the universe. And the best analogy I could give you is if I pull down the blinds, close them, turn off all the lights, this room will be dark. But darkness is not an actual state. Darkness is simply the absence of light. Because if it's daytime and the sun is out there, and I open up my blinds, as soon as I open the blinds, the light dispels the darkness. And so, if you want a deeper dive on that, on my blog, just look for that, search the blog and look for that title, Poverty is an Illusion. I wrote that last week. And I got a message from Jose, like, oh, thank you for writing that, Bob, right? Because when we put it in that context, it's so clear. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's not a natural state. Poverty is simply the absence of prosperity. And there's prosperity everywhere in the universe. So think of that, anchor that first principle. Number 2, all prosperity is created twice. First, all forms of prosperity are created in the mind, and then they are manifested on the physical plane. And then remember, how do we do that? We do that through the power of ideas. Oh, I have an idea for what will make a car go faster. Somebody will pay me money for that. Oh, I have an idea of a way to extend the mileage of the gasoline in the car. Somebody will pay you money for that. Oh, I have an idea for a car that won't use any gasoline and it'll run on a battery. Somebody will pay you money for that. Oh, I have an idea for a car that'll run on a battery and the battery will be charged by the sun and completely renewable. I will have an idea for a road that is actually a solar screen that soaks the sun, creating energy on the road, and then cars of a certain brand that drive on that road will be able to be powered by that energy. These are all ideas that real people had in the real world, and people trade them money for that. So, but how did it happen? It happened first with the idea in the mind of a dreamer, an idea in the mind of a visionary. All right, first principle number 3, debt is a dangerous narcotic. Now think, what do we know about narcotics? We know that there are certain situations in your life that your body is not able to heal itself. You are facing a serious health challenge. And a particular drug or narcotic could make you healthy or even save your life. What do we also know about narcotics? We know you can overdose on them. We know that crystal meth will kill you. We know that heroin will kill you. We know that opioids can kill you. So I want you to frame your mind that debt is the same way, that debt should be approached with the same mindset that you do with a drug. You don't just take drugs, I hope at least, you don't just take drugs indiscriminately from somebody passing them out on the street, right? You get them because a doctor has prescribed them to you for a certain thing, and you go to an accredited pharmacy with a trained pharmacist who knows what she's doing, and she gives you your prescription and explains it to you, and you take the proper dosage for the proper amount of time. Think of it that way. Be mindful that, because I'm not against debt, right? I'm a big believer in real estate. I'm a big believer in any form of wealth building that allows me to practice leverage. This is why I like real estate. This is why I like direct selling, leverage sales. This is why I like being an information entrepreneur. I like anything that allows us to escape from trading hours for currency. Because if we get trapped in the model of creating hours for currency, now we've bought into one of those limiting beliefs and we've made money finite. We've bought into the belief of the rest of society that money is finite because we say the only way I get money is to trade 8 hours of labor for it. And I only have so many blocks of 8 hours of labor that I can trade for that money. So I can only I can only dig ditches for 8 hours a day and then I'm exhausted. So whatever they pay me, $20 an hour, so 8 times 20, that's how much money I can earn in a day. Um, with leverage, you can escape that. With leverage, you can say, okay, there's a duplex for sale for $200,000 and I can buy it with $20,000 that I've saved up as a down payment. And I can rent out the two sides of that duplex and actually get that. I can own that duplex and all the payments are going to be made by my tenants because I have leveraged the ability of my money. I have leveraged the ability of my time. So there are times debt makes sense. And there are times that debt does not make sense. Okay, I said we got Jedi Jonak in the chat, watching right now. So he had sent me this. You've all heard about the GameStop, AMC, all the drama going on with the hedge funds, right? This has been nothing but that in the news for 48 hours. So Art sent me a thread from a guy on wallstreetbets.com. Is it? No, on the Reddit thread for Wall Street Bets. Let me see if it's still up because they keep pulling it down on this guy. Yeah, okay. So it's a guy in his early 20s. He's talking about what happened, what he went through in 2008, and how his parents planned ahead and they were smart with their money and they had some supplies. And he talks about his other friends who didn't. And then now he's talking to the hedge funds and he says, you stand for everything I hated during that time. You make money off of exploiting a company, manipulating markets and media to your advantage. Your continued existence is a sharp reminder that the ones in charge of so much hardship during the 2008 crisis were not punished. And that's all true, by the way. Your alleged illegal naked short selling and your obscene market manipulation after hours. You haven't learned a thing, on and on. So I'm with this guy all the way. I feel it. But I want you to understand how to view this in the prosperity context. Like Jorge emailed me or texted me about this the other day. Hey, what's your take on all this stuff? What's the prosperity thing? Here's how I view it through a prosperity thing, and I'm going to translate it into the prism of debt, because that's the first principle I want to study right now. What I wrote back to Art was, I should pull that up again. Here's what I wrote to Art. I love this guy's heart, passion, and authenticity. Good for him. But I started my prosperity ministry for people like him. Because I didn't read you the end part. In the end, he's venting to everybody in this Reddit thread, and he says, I took my rent and I bought GameStop with it. And then I used my credit card to pay my rent. So what I wrote to Art was, hey, I love all this guy, I love his passion, everything, but I'm doing these lessons that I'm doing every Saturday for you guys. I'm doing them for people like this. It's, putting his rent money into the stock and then doing rent on his credit card is a huge mistake. It worked out here, but that's not the way to go. There's way too many ignorant day traders doing this, because this is how I look at the stock market. And again, here's what I see from a prosperity concept, from prosperity consciousness. I say the reason for being of the stock market should be to attract capital to businesses that want to grow. So you have an idea, you want to start a chain of natural yogurt stores. You go public, you create an offering and say, we've got this concept. We've proved it in 8 of our company-owned stores. Now we're going to franchise it. We think it's a very profitable idea, but we need $50 million to expand and take this across the country. So we're going to sell stock and raise that $50 million. That's the purpose of the stock market. So that people who have money to invest can find the businesses and the entrepreneurs they want to invest in. Now, short selling is, which is what created all this drama, is betting that the value of a company is going down. So I'm doing this in very simplistic terms, right? Art could do a 3-hour seminar on this. I'm just trying to give you the, the overview. So you're betting, okay, the stock is worth $50. I think it's going to go down to $40. So I'm going to buy an option that says that. And then if it does, I make money because I predicted it's going to go down. In a simplistic sense, that's basically what's happened. I say, from a prosperity consciousness standpoint, that has no place in the stock market. That should be a prop bet in Las Vegas at a casino. Because I know people want to do that. They say, no, I think the value is going to go down. I want to, okay, great. So go to the MGM Grand and do a prop bet. Like you know, it happens every Sunday. Tomorrow there's going to be, is tomorrow? No, the Super Bowl's in another week. But on the, you know, a week from now in the Super Bowl, there's going to be people that say, okay, I want a prop bet that the Buccaneers kick 3 field goals in the first quarter. And I'm, you know, and somebody say, I want a prop bet that Tom Brady gets sacked 6 times. And they just do these crazy prop bets. So I'm saying, okay, if you want to, so what I'm saying from a prosperity standpoint is let the builders build, let the gamblers gamble, but they don't belong in the same sandbox. Let's create a sandbox for capital for builders, and let's create a sandbox for people who want to gamble. Because the principle of betting against a company is very anti-prosperity to me, right? So that's just to explain the philosophy of what's happened, because I've been getting a lot of questions about that on Twitter. But in the terms of the debt, this is the day traders. This is why everybody on Robinhood was so furious and when they couldn't trade in these stocks, because they are trading stocks 5 times a day. They're buying them at 9 o'clock, selling them at 10 o'clock, rebuying them at 11:15, selling them again at 12:30, buying them again at 3. That's crazy. Let me not, okay. It's just gambling, okay? So, and if you like to gamble, that's a thing, but that's not a prosperous way to build wealth, right? So if you guys want to deep dive into this, there's another post on my blog. It's called Beat Your Burn Rate. So go and read that afterward. Make that part of your homework. Read Beat Your Burn Rate. And that'll show you my complete philosophy about investing to develop wealth, right? But the point is, day traders are not about in you know, building wealth. Day trading is like going to a casino. It's like playing blackjack. It's a gamble. And that's not the stuff I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how do we create money security? How do we create financial security? Okay. So that's why I say, think of debt as a narcotic. And we know narcotics can be addictive. So think back when Bitcoin had its first really big run and its first really big crash. You had people that had bought Bitcoin with the credit lines on their credit cards, and they were destroyed because that was a narcotic. They kept hearing the price of Bitcoin going up every day, and they took what they wanted to invest. Then they saw it going up. They took stuff they didn't plan to invest. Then they took stuff out of other areas of their portfolio that were earning less, and they poured it all into Bitcoin. And then they hit the credit cards. Then they hit the mortgage on their house. Then they hit their kids' college fund, and they put it all into Bitcoin because they said it can only go up. It can never come down. What happened there? They got addicted and they overdosed. So First principle, think of debt as a narcotic, all right? First principle, money should never be the primary reason for making a decision. Never. Now, I don't like to use words like never very often, but when I do so mindfully. I believe money should never be the primary reason. So you're in the watch store, there's 2 watches you want to buy. Price should not be the reason you choose one of them. You're looking at what private school you can send your children to. Price should not be the primary reason. You're looking for a house, a home to raise your family. Price should not be the primary reason. When you go to the Cheesecake Factory and you're looking at the menu, you should be ordering from the left side, which is the entrees, not the right side, which is the prices. In every case, I'm saying if you're making a decision with money as the primary reason, it's a bad premise, and it's very likely to not produce a prosperous outcome. So I want you I'm going to go back to what I said at the start. I want you to get the money thing out of the way as quickly as possible. Now, we talked about that some last week. We talked about it some the week before. And we're going to talk about it over and over and over again in the weeks ahead, provided this keeps going on. And that's going to be up to you guys. If you support the work, if you share the show, if you tell your friends about it, and we grow this, then I'm going to keep doing it. Right now, it's an experiment. I want to see, is the world ready for a for-profit prosperity ministry that gets together every week? And I envision you guys doing this with friends and family. And as soon as the COVID situation allows it, that people are gathering in living rooms and they've got 11 people and they're watching it together. And even right now, that's why I suggested at the start, send a text to somebody, get a signal or a WhatsApp message, and create a watch party every Saturday with your friends and watch the show and then talk about it afterward. And as you're going to see today, I'm going to give you some assignments, some homework, and I'm going to start doing that every week. And same way for you guys who have friends who are speak Spanish speaking, Jose and Jorge are doing a Spanish version every week. So one of you, would you put the link of your Facebook page there, or Paula, one of you guys, put the link in the comments so people know. If you have friends who speak Spanish and they can't be on the English one, share that with them. So if you guys share this and get the word out there, then I'm going to keep coming back here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern and doing a lesson every week. And I promise I'm going to devote many, many, many lessons for how you get the money thing out of the way as quickly as possible, because I really believe everybody can do that. But the first principle that this is based on is that money should never be the primary reason for making a decision for anything. You're buying tacos at Taco Bell. You're looking for a jet ski to buy. You want to get a motorcycle. You're figuring a company to invest in. You're thinking about buying a private island. You're deciding which private jet service you want to use. It doesn't matter the context. In any decision, money should never be the primary reason for making the decision, because money should be a resource that you use. Okay, first principle number 5. This is the most important one. You work for money, or money works for you. Choose mindfully. Okay. Number 5, you work for money or money works for you. Again, set that goal. How do I wake up tomorrow and be wealthier than I was when I went to sleep tonight? What can I do to wake up Monday morning and be wealthier than I was when I went to sleep Sunday night? And once you accept that philosophy, once you set that as your intention and work to achieve it, then it'll force you to recognize, okay, money is not finite. Money can be attracted through the power of ideas. With the right idea, I can manifest money on the physical plane. I can acquire enough of it so I never have to use that as the primary reason to make a decision. And I can make all of those things come true if I have my money working for me. So whether that's you bought stock in GameStop and it went up overnight, okay. Or if you've got Tesla stock, or you lent the money to somebody at an 8% return and they're paying you 8% to use it, or you bought an income producing asset. Perhaps you bought a condo or a townhouse or an apartment building or an office building. Maybe you've put money into certain investments. I have a Wealthfront account. I have an IRA. I was just looking at I got my IRA statement yesterday for, the year end for my taxes. And I looked at that and I was like, wow, because I had a money manager at the fund who runs it. And it was just like loitering around the same place for the last year up till the middle of the year. And then it wasn't looking great during the pandemic. And so I called her up, the lady who runs my account. And I said, you're not making me any money. So I need to change this account because I don't, all I'm doing is making you money. You're charging me fees to manage this and I'm not growing my wealth. So either we're going to grow my wealth or I'm going to take my money out of here and I'm going to put it in Wealthfront and let them manage it by algorithms, artificial intelligence, or machine learning, whatever. I'm not, So she was like, well, there's, you could look, and I'm like, show me all the options. What are the funds and so I picked them. So this was halfway through the year. And now I look and I'm up like 30%. So, but what's the principle of that is I was making that money without trading hours for it. My money was working for me. And that's what we've got to get to for you, for everybody in this Zoom room, everybody watching on Facebook, everybody watching on the replays, right? We've got a couple thousand people here every week. I want you all to understand these 5 first principles. And I want you to really get this 5th one into action, that you work for money or money works for you. Now, you're going to say, some of you, let me not affirm that. Maybe some of you are saying, oh, that's easy for you to say, Gage, you got enough money and you got an IRA and you got bank accounts and Robinhood account and Wealthfront account. And I don't have that. I'm working as a waitress. I get that. I started as a dishwasher. I waited tables. I did temporary work at Manpower. I dug ditches. I worked construction. I can't even tell you all the wacky money-making jobs I had to take to survive, right? But you can do that. So you can work 8 hours or 10 hours driving for Uber or Lyft, and you're working for money, right? But if you make $80 driving for Uber Eats, and then you take just $15 of it and you invest it to work for you, now you started the process. And if tomorrow you can make $80 more and take $10 or $15 of it and start it to work for you, you will get to a tipping point, some point where your money that is working for you is producing more income than you are by trading hours for dollars or pesos or pound or whatever the currency is wherever you are. So this is where we want to get you to. So understanding these first principles is the fastest way to move from broke to balling, okay? Because if a premise is wrong, everything that comes off of that premise is wrong. So you got to get rid of all the bad premises. Money is bad. Rich people are evil. You got to have money to make money. You got to know someone to make money. You got to have the right education to make money. Only argue for the limitations you want to keep. And you don't want to keep any of those limitations. All right. So I'm going to do the offering portion now, and then I want to give you your assignments for this week. But for you guys who are first timers, I do this training. I don't charge $99 or $97. I do it on a love offering basis. I just say, hey, it's here every Saturday. Come by. If you can only afford $1, pay $1. If you can only afford $5, pay $5. And I love to see those dollar donations. I love to see those $5 donations. Now understand, this is not a church. It's not a religion. This is a for-profit spiritual ministry that I just look for. I just looked at what I was doing. I've been working on teaching these principles of prosperity for more than 25, 30 years. And I just say, I can't keep doing all these Instagram posts and Facebook posts and blog posts and podcasts and all of this free stuff for the people who need it and still provide value for my clients who pay me, because there's only so many hours in the day, right? And if I trade in hours for dollars, then I'm buying into the finite model, and I'm not going to buy into that. So I created Prosperity Factory to be a for-profit ministry. So every Saturday I do this prosperity celebration service and a love offering basis, which means pay as you desire basis. So if you will go to randygage.com/go, and do me a favor, somebody type that in the comments. Randygage. That was fast, Jorge. You're like lightning. So there's the offering statement on there, and that's where you can pay whatever you would like. And again, I'm going to say, I'm not here to hawk anybody or beat anybody up, but if you tell me you can't even afford one single dollar, or you can't do even $5, okay, if that's really true, then wonderful. This prosperity live stream is for you, but I still want a payment from you. And that payment is, you should share this. Share this with your friends so they know. So after we finish this, send the replay. The replay links go up on Monday. Share them with your friends and tell them about that and grow this ministry. And then my plan is, I'm going to keep teaching you the principles of prosperity every Saturday morning. And eventually you're going to start making enough money and you're going to start contributing to support the work. And those of you guys who already get this and it's working and you've been following my work, then I'm asking you to support the work and the people who can't afford to. So if you say, well, I know there's people who can't give in, so I'm going to do a little extra because I know some extra people can watch this. So the offering statement is there on randygage.com/go. So I'm going to speak it out loud, and you guys who are tithing or contributing, you can speak it with me. We're sending this energy throughout the universe through the power of the internet. Prosperity begins with me. Holding this seed offering in my hand or my heart, I send it forth as a vessel of hope, healing, and highest good, knowing it blesses myself, the recipient, and the universe around us. And so it is. All right, here's your assignments for this week. Assignment number 1, I want you to schedule a 30-minute idea session for yourself. And here's my friend Michael in my origin country, the Czech Republic. Michael Burton, there every week supporting the show. Thank you, my friend. It's so good to connect with you again. 30 minutes of no devices. So you turn off the phone, the tablets, the TV, the radio, the music, everything. You just put yourself in a sacred space to think. It might be on your balcony. It might be walking along the beach. It might be walking along the forest. It might be traipsing out in the snow. It may be curled up in your favorite chair next to the fire with a cup of hot cocoa. But it's 30 minutes of thinking time. You guys who read my Mad Genius book, you know, I've done this for years. I'm a big, big believer in this. So what I want you to set as your intention for this time this week is 30 minutes. You're going to schedule this week. And the 30 minutes is to think about the ideas that you can manifest to bring prosperity to the physical plane. Right? Because again, whether it's, Tesla or Airbnb or Amazon.com, these all were first created in the mind of a visionary. Oprah's career, Oprah's work, it's always created in her mind first, right? Every great accomplishment of humankind was first created in the mind, and then it was manifested on the physical plane. And if you want some homework, you can go back and rewatch that episode, one of the earlier, from 2 or 3 weeks ago, Manifesting Prosperity on the Physical Plane. And then you say, okay, and you literally mark it in your calendar, whether it's on your phone or if you have a paper planner. Okay, Wednesday from 3 o'clock to 3:30, I'm scheduling my thinking time. I'm turning off all the devices. I'm just going to get a journal and a pen and a cup of green tea, or if you're in Colombia with Jose, maybe some aguardiente cristal, whatever. And you're just going to think for 30 minutes, and of ideas. Think about what you think about, all right? Assignment number 2, choose a sum of money and put it to work for you this week. It doesn't matter if it's only $10, but I want you to find a way to take some sum of money, $10, $20, $100, and put it to work for you. So you have the first beginning step of, I have a certain amount of money coming to, going to work for me. And if you don't know where, remember, read that blog post, Beat Your Burn Rate. And you could see how you could set up a Wealthfront account or a Robinhood account for free and get your money working for you, okay? Number 3, take one step to reducing your debt. One step. So you say, okay, I have one of my credit cards that even though I've only been paying the minimum payments on, I'm picking my Diners, my MasterCard, and I'm going to pay $75 extra down on the principal. Or I'm sending in my mortgage payment and I'm going to put $100 extra against the principal. But pick some sum and take one step, at least one step, to reduce your debt this week. There's going to be a test next week, so don't mess around with this. You got that, Lisa Ryan? There'll be a test. I love you. All right, so number 1, schedule 30-minute idea session. Number 2, choose a sum of money and put it to work for you. Number 3, take one step to reducing your debt. Step number 4 is a favor I'm asking for anybody who got that book behind me, Radical Rebirth. I'm asking, if you read it, please go to Amazon and post a review. Exactly, if you thought it was horrible, say it was horrible. If you thought it was amazing and it transformed your life, say that. Give me an honest review on Amazon.com for that. And then finally, number 5, I want you to share this live stream homepage. So, Jorge, can you put that in there? The one that is the prosperity live stream one? You know the one I'm talking about, Jorge? You're typing, so I guess, okay, good. So this is the one where on Monday, I post what the show's topic is going to be on Saturday, and we create a link, and then it has the archive of all the old shows. So anybody who wants to go back and catch up watching the first 4 or 5. So it's randygage.com/prosperity live stream, if I remember that. Oh, Peter, you posted a review Thursday night? No, I didn't see that. So I'm eager to see that. So I can't wait to see that. So anyway, Jorge will put that. Yeah, so Jorge put it in there, prosperity-live stream. I want you to share that this week on your Facebook page, on your Twitter account, on your TikTok, wherever. Just tell your friends, hey, there's this prosperity celebration service every Saturday I'm watching, check it out and let me know what you think. Or create a watch party with your friends, like I say, and watch it together. Or tell them, send them and say, hey, watch this episode, give them the name of the episode, watch it, and then call me afterward and let's talk about it. And then you create a prosperity mastermind. All right, next week's lesson, just so you know, is called Reverse Engineering a Prosperous Life. And we're going to do what I was talking about earlier. We're going to look at, okay, how did we learn these things that are keeping us from health, from harmony, from happiness, from prosperity? How do we go back, find out what these limiting beliefs are, blow them up, eviscerate them, send them back into the nothingness from which they came, and replace them with beliefs that empower me and cause me to take the actions that will create a more prosperous life. That's what we're going to do next week. All right, last thing, I'm going to read our affirmation, and then you're on your own. So thank you all for watching. We celebrate the following truth. We have prosperity because we choose to accept it. We circulate prosperity joyfully, lovingly, and gratefully. We become prosperity by generous daily living. Prosperity surrounds us everywhere in the universe, yet we know it begins with us. All right, my friends, gorgeous looking crowd. Thanks for being on. Please share the show, and I will talk to you next Saturday. Peace.